Nobody can deny that there's something there. Each one believing that love never dies. Watching her eyes and hoping I'm always there.
Movements of the Beatles and their loved ones reminded of the movements in a Hampton court maze of the gentlemen and ladies from Three Men in a Boat, to say nothing of the dog, but rather than seeking an exit, they were seeking each other at the opposite sides of the glass. Paul and Ringo were looking for John and George. Paul was looking for Linda, Olivia was seeking George, and Yoko was longing for John, and vice versa, and vice versa. It spread out, wide and enticing, drawing them closer. At one end of the maze, he could see the four of them, split by the glass, playing soft and slow, their music billowing out around them. But at the other end of the maze, as he felt Beata begin to slip away from him, Yoko, Linda, and Olivia stood watching at both sides of the glass. They desperately reached out for their lovers, but the maze only grew bigger, separating them further, and it was impossible to reach another side. Harihara reached up from the ground, beneath the ribbons of water, slashing at the maze and sending shards of glass and mirror everywhere. Odious tendrils slithered out from the demonic creature, as each side of Haritono's face became clearer and more vicious. The demon reached out for them, but even Harihara couldn't reach Widlowski and Beata as they rose higher and higher into the sky. Where no worries or obstacles could stand in the way of their love, of the life that they were supposed to have. Of the life they could have had if Haritonov hadn't ripped them apart.
Why did you come here tonight?
I have a whole life here. A good one. A house. A husband who loves me.
Do you love him?
That's not fair.
Fine. How about this? Do you still have your half of the photo?
I should go. I've been gone too long.
Do you still have it?
Widlowski reached out and put his hand on her shoulder, touching her tenderly. She pulls away and slaps him. Then, just as quickly, she cranes forward and kisses him on the lips.
No, I gave it away a long time ago.
Beata turned and hurried off. Rather than the aching cheek, his fingers instinctively rose to his lips, her touch still there even as she strode away into the night. He brushed his lips, feeling her presence even now. Widlowski looked down at the surface of the water, grinning as he watched it vibrate and elongate, and watched as it morphed into a technicolor river before his very eyes, like the one the canal had whirled into before he'd left for Zagoria. It was late in the morning when Ladislav's car pulled up to a quaint farmhouse, surrounded by a low stone wall. Out back, he could see a blooming garden spread out by the house. As the car limped past, Widlowski saw a woman dressed in coveralls kneeling before the stone wall, patching it up. She smiled, looking up at them as the car slowed, nodded silently to Ladislav, but gave a bright smile to Widlowski.
Clara, you must be Widlowski.
My pleasure.
Jana, your guests have arrived.
A woman appeared partway through in the doorway of the farmhouse. Jana was clearly older than Clara, but no less beautiful. She'd aged with grace and had clearly altered everything about her. Long black hair flowed to her shoulders, smooth and silken. Gone were the leathers and spikes, replaced by simple, demure even, pastel clothes. She all but ignores Ladislav, to Widlowski's slight surprise, but happily embraces Widlowski.
Hey, it's good to see ya!
You too, Janka Bittelfanka.
I gotta go to the ladies' room. I'll let you all catch up.
Clara gave Jana a kiss and headed inside. Ladislav raised an eyebrow suggestively to Widlowski.
Oh, don't mind him. He was raised by the wolves.
Raised with the wolves.
Jana rolls her eyes, then gestured around, pointing out her favorite aspects of their home. It was peaceful out here, warm and inviting. The picture-perfect field that encircled the house was laced with gardens, both decorative and practical. She led them all around her home, describing her life, how she and Clara had met and fallen in love, though he heard her start and stop a few times here and there, clearly leaving out a few details. Whatever they were, it didn't seem polite to pry, something he was surprised Ladislav had agreed with, as he silently trailed them.
So you traded in the purple mohawk and this studded leather jacket.
Oh, my God, I love the jacket.
Your tattoos?
Oh, still there, although they look like they have been through the wash a few too many times.
For this? Out here, miles away from the action. I don't believe it.
Oh, you find something you love, or someone, and you hold on to it.
Did Ladislav tell you about the reunion concert? Why we're
He
here?
told me why you say you're here.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, maybe she'll come back to you, Widlowski. Maybe she won't.
I know. I'm being crazy. She's unhappy, but she tries to think she's not.
If she thinks she's happy, doesn't it mean she is?
Trying to think and thinking are two different things. Happy to be unhappy? No, it's not Her Majesty.
But if you found her truly happy, would you stay away or go back?
I might if that was so, but it is not.
And does that make you want what you want more or less? Huh?
More.
Well then, much to your own beat. Okay?
Speaking of beat, so you going to play with us?
I think that might be a bit too much for me. The noise, the commotion, I miss it. But I don't, if you know what I mean.
And this is your soundtrack now. Crickets and nightingales. You became a child of nature?